when you tie that knot in your belt, guys, it's symbolic, and actually when you snap that tight, forget about everything else in your life. This is time for training. So if you've had a hard day, lost your job, can't pay your bills, problems with friends, family, kids, injuries, whatever that may be, as soon as you go snap, then this goes snap into training mode. Everything else is forgotten and nothing else will affect your training. After training, you're probably going to feel pretty good anyway. But you can always go back to your training anytime you're having a hard time or bored, or something in your life isn't right. Bang, and go back to your training. So let's just start with footwork for our warm-up. With warm-ups I do and like to teach, I like to make sure that it's all martial arts related. So here we're working footwork straight away and warming up, getting the calves warm because you need endurance in your calves to keep your footwork going. Otherwise you'll start getting sloppy and become a sitting duck. So we're just bouncing, same like we're skipping, as though you're skipping. If you prefer to skip, it's actually better because you'll get endurance in your shoulders as well and timing. When I was preparing for my second dan many years ago, I did a lot of skipping, and any of you who have been preparing for second dan adult would have done a lot of skipping. That's part of the grading. And really, through that training for the second dan, that's developed a lot of my footwork and ability to move quickly on my feet, because I did all sorts of different types of skipping to prepare for the second dan grading. Now it's never wasted after the grading. I didn't do a lot of skipping after that because I don't really enjoy skipping, but I needed to do it for a good 9 months, and that's always stayed with me in my sparring. So when you're preparing for a grading, or whatever it is, it's actually developing skills and habits that even after the grading, you'll keep. Okay, foot to foot, just like skipping. If you've got a rope, go grab your rope. So warm-ups specific to martial arts if you're training for martial arts. So in my warm-ups I like to do martial arts movements in the warm-up, shadow boxing. So you're training the full session for martial arts rather than aerobics and then a bit of martial arts. Different direction changes. Don't worry about your guard for now, we'll just work footwork and warming up, get the calves warm. So maintain those dimensions in your stance. And now then change stance. Should be able to use your opposite stance just as well or almost as well. Master one stance first though, at least you've always got that to fall back on. What I also like to do during my warm-ups is, for teaching purposes, teach you martial arts. We're not just doing warm-up and not just doing, keep going while I'm talking, keep using your shadow boxing footwork. We're not just doing martial arts movements, but I'm also teaching you martial arts about footwork, why we need to use that footwork, and incorporate techniques, teach you new techniques or new combinations in the warm-up itself. So you're getting the full session of martial arts. Okay, so footwork from there. We're going to work directions, forwards, backwards, sideways. Hands come up now. Now if you just put your thumbs against your forehead most of the time, keep your body slightly side on, you know when your guard's up, because you can feel it. A lot of the time we think our guard's up, but it's here. We can see it here, we think it's up, it's not up. So if you can feel it, even if it's just your thumbs here, you know it's up, and not here either. Unless you've got unbelievable conditioning in your midsection, being hit by medicine balls, punches, run on, stood on, then protect your midsection, because you can get dropped with a body shot pretty easily. Hands up. Just relax in your stance, don't hunch your shoulders. It's a habit for a lot of people to be tense, burn yourselves out, tire out all these muscles, hang them down, and then bring your chin down for protection, rather than head up and guard up this way and open. So here, obviously that's not very well protected from my head, but dip the chin, protect the neck, protect the chin from knockouts, and here. So I protect my body and my head. And then you don't have to shadow box the whole time like this. It's going to be really awkward. Just relax, just dip that chin. So punches will come here more than here and here. Let them skim off. Keep that spring in your step. Even if you're sparring for a long time, you still need to maintain that spring in your step. If your calves get tired, and if your shoulders get tired, your guard will drop. And if your fitness is not there, what will happen? First few rounds, great, you're feeling good, and then later it's sloppy and just plonking around, and you're going to get hurt because you can't move out of the way. Now keep that footwork going forwards, backwards, sideways, diagonals. Diagonals can be a bit awkward because it's easy to go cross and work the diagonal, so you've got to work out how to do it without crossing. So that one out, that one forward, and then I'd maintain my stance. Do a little bit of work on that, because a lot of people have problems. The opponents here move off in the diagonal. Okay, so if I want to go forward and on an angle at 45 degrees, if I go, because I'm going that way and that way, which direction do I go in first? So not that one forward, that one forward. If we're going this way, this direction and this direction at the same time, which foot goes first? This one, not that one, that one. You can see the problem there straight away. Backwards as well on a diagonal. Okay, so work those diagonals. They're the ones that people get a bit stuck on, but once you've done it a few times and drilled it, you'll move that way naturally. Next thing we have to work is circular footwork. Here's my opponent. I've got 4 mats here. I've got an intersection. I always want to be moving around my opponent, not always in front of them. As they move, I move. I try to get an angle when I attack as much as possible. So, side step around a spot. You can put anything on the ground, something on the ground if you want, and the other way. It's the same as moving to the side, but it's moving to the side with a pivot. Side with a pivot. Stay on the balls of your feet. Now don't start doing this either, like a crab, as you've lost your stance, and that's what most people tend to do. They think they're doing it right. They're not maintaining their stance, but this one comes back a bit, and they start doing this kind of thing. So be aware of that. It's a common danger that you need to avoid, because you need to maintain the shape of your stance while you're moving around. And the shape is not this way unless you've got real unbelievable body conditioning and head movement, because you're going to be wide open like that. So if you're awesome at slipping, ducking, fine, you can stand in front of your opponent like that. If you can take the shots and knees to the body, otherwise cover, make yourself small. So you can't see, the opponent can't see too much of you. Move around, that's point, maintaining your stance. And direction, stance changes as well. You're going to find it pretty awkward in the opposite stance, but you need to be able to find an opposite stance in case this arm gets tired. or this arm gets injured, or this leg gets injured, gets kicked. Okay, so you might want to put that leg forward and you still got to keep going. Okay, let's have a look at our pivots now. So we're working through all our footwork whilst we're warming up. So the opponent's coming directly towards you with a kick, punch, push, just running at you. So easy pivot. Put your weight on your front foot slightly, on the ball of your foot, pivot out of the way. Let's go back to neutral. Other side. Neutral, keep that bounce so we're not going. And then we always, even when we're not doing anything, moving. Even if you're doing techniques like knees, it's not knee, okay, it's knee, move, knee. In your shadow boxing, everything you do, keep the footwork going at all times. If you're going up and down the floor, don't do it like it's often done in some of the traditional arts where it's. Okay, so do it more like this. Okay, knees going up and down. You can do these with me, not here. Okay, more like this. Okay, so you're moving in between techniques. You're still moving. Okay, let's look at those pivots again. From here, weight, a little bit of weight forward, not too much. You can get kicked and hit. It's just a little bit of weight. You won't even see my body tilt. Just a little bit of a weight transfer. Back leg just spins like a clock hand. Boom. 45 degrees. So that was 90 degrees, 180. 270, 360, other way. You'll see my hand dip sometimes because it's just out of habit of kick coming, scooping off, or a punch coming, carrying off, because generally, as you move off, as backup, boom, you just got that hand or forearm this way for a kick, or this way, or this way. There are many ways of redirecting with the hands. But you need to get off the train track as well. And now we're going to add a little bit of a step with the pivot, because if someone's coming directly at me, that's cutting it a bit fine. So step pivot. Okay, so the step will get me offline a foot or more. Generally you don't want to take big steps with anything unless you're doing your traditional martial arts and your big steps. You've got to look at the problems with that as well. It's stable but not mobile. Okay, so we want stability and mobility. So we use shoulder width forward, shoulder width sideways, shoulder width forward. So it's going to give us the right blend of stability and mobility. And at times, boom, we'll go in for a more stable and less mobile stance. So boom, boom, but straight back to a mobile stance. You can't get caught in any sort of low stance for more than 1/100th of a second. Okay, so what we're doing whilst you're warming up, practicing martial arts techniques and learning martial arts movements and techniques. Someone's coming at you with anything. It could be a spear or a shovel or a knife or a kick, punch, or just running at you with a rugby tackle. Okay, so instead of just pivoting, step pivot. Okay, now I'm a good 1.5 foot. They've gone through this way. They're going to turn back at you, boom, boom, when they do. But as they come forward, they're just thinking, side step, crack, 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 crack. They turn back at you, boom, boom, boom. Whatever combination, you all know plenty of combinations. Just got to make sure that combination works well from that angle. Okay, and the other way, a little bit harder. Easy with the front foot, a little bit harder with the back foot because I need to step and pivot out the way, not step, definitely not cross yourself over. unless you're specifically doing a technique where it is a good idea to cross yourself over. Okay, so we're going that way, step pivot. So I'm not just going, and at first you can do this, step pivot, step pivot. As you get more experience at footwork and switching stances, you'll see I'm splitting as they come through. So I've actually done a switch stance. Instead of going 1, 2, someone's coming at me, I'm already offline. By doing a switch stance, this is a bit more advanced, lower levels, you don't get this, that's fine. Even higher levels, some of you might not have seen it used this way. A lot of you have seen switch stance, which is not switch and kick or knee or whatever, or punch. You can use that switch stance for punches and kicks, even moving off on an angle. So the switch is, this one drops back, this one goes forward. Okay. With me, I'll do it this way. Front foot drops back, the back foot becomes your front foot. Now as that back foot becomes a front foot, my weight is going forward, so I've got power in the next technique. Whereas there's not a lot of power just kicking off the front leg. So I make my front leg my back leg, and then it becomes very powerful. Also this beat or rhythm, the opponent, they react to that first movement. So they get a startle, they go to defend that, which is nothing, pop, 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 then you hit them. So you've used beats or rhythm to confuse them. Okay, but the main thing I was showing you about that is moving yourself offline with using a switch stance. So instead of just going offline with a step and a pivot, which is fine, and that's the way to do it in the beginning, you will naturally, as you do a lot of sparring, progress into a switch stance for your sidestepping and pivoting. It'll just happen naturally because it's quicker. So don't force it, but here it is. There's the line coming straight towards me. Switch stance. So that has created, look at my head. Head's on the center, head's offline now. And I'm to the side. Boom. Okay, we did this side, boom, boom, easy. This side, boom. Which is the same as going 1, 2. But more efficient. Alright, it's good. Been through all the footwork. Now we're going to go through defenses. Let's start with parries, punches coming, or anything's coming directly to you, towards your head, boom, redirect it. So I can't punch this way towards myself, but we're just deflecting it off. Head can move as well, and then it becomes a slip at the same time. So you can keep your head there, or a little bit of a movement from the hip more than the head really. Boom. Don't over parry, boom, then you get hit by the rest of their combination. Boom, here parry, boom. If you were going to do something like scoop low, you need to come back up. Okay, sometimes when I'm sparring, I'll go for the scoop. Let's say I didn't need it because I was out of range. I'll just practice that while I'm sparring to make sure I'm here, not anything like that. So, yeah, boom. That's a redirection. It really is a parry of a kick. Even a punch coming in low, you could parry a little bit harder. I tend to parry this way for the body shots. Doesn't matter how you parry really. It's don't get hit, redirect, counter. Better than redirecting and countering is not being there. Okay, so in terms of defenses, you can be there and cover, boom. You're still wearing shots and they're taking energy out of you every time you wear that. Okay, there's some pain, some energy, there's impact. There's two forces clashing together and energy dissipates. So, yeah, that's the hardcore block, block, block. Whilst you're strong and your body can take that. More efficient, the punch coming in, redirect it. redirect it, redirect it, redirect it into another direction. The energy continues. There's no clash and stopping of two forces. Energy continues. Your opponent overexerts themselves because you're redirecting the punch, open themselves up. And they make mistakes. You've got to see the openings. Okay, that comes really with experience and working drills that we have in the syllabus. Sidestep drill, slipping drill, ducking drill. So we have drills to develop this, but most of it's going to come from sparring. So if you don't spar, you might be good at doing all your techniques in the air and on the pads, but it doesn't mean you're going to be good at fighting or sparring. Even sparring doesn't mean you're going to be good at fighting, because there's certain rules to sparring, and it will get stopped before it gets too aggressive. But fighting on the street is another step again. Sometimes people have never even done martial art, but they've done street fighting, and they're very dangerous people, because it doesn't matter if they're swinging and the techniques are all out. If they hit you with that, you're down. Okay, so we're working on the redirections or the parries. It's a kick coming towards you. Side step and parry. Side step and parry. So I use the switch again. Punch coming this way. Boom. You can use your forearm. Boom, boom. Take it across, but don't overexert yourself. We don't want big movements. Everything, keep everything tight and near your core. Okay, what other defences we've got for the upper body? Okay, we can block. Someone's coming out with a knife. I don't want to block here, and the knife comes through there. Boom, I'll extend a bit. So a weapon, pull, boom, on top of the head, bang, bang. So you have to know when to extend out a little bit more. So you can think of it as a force field. Here, here, midsection, this is high section, midsection, low section. So something coming in that area. Keep that angle as well. You don't want something to collapse down, break your arm and land on your head. You want it to come down, hit and ricochet off on that angle. So we block. Fist, hand, doesn't really matter. In the syllabus we use fist. They're your high sections. And we do it the traditional way in the syllabus, because you're going to get most power. You're going to learn how to use your hips. You're going to learn how to use your legs properly. You're going to learn how to grab under someone's chin. Boom. Pull them in. Boom. Pull their hair. Boom. Pull the jacket. Pull their arm. Yeah, that's what this arm is doing. Okay, so that's fine for learning it. But when you're training and sparring or moving, or in reality, you're not going to be in your horse stance. You're not going to always need to pull that back unless you're grabbing something. So it'll be more boom, boom. Still, snap when you punch, snap. When you kick, snap. When you block, snap. Snap at the end. So when it hits, it gets bounced off, not collapsed down. Okay? Bounce it off. Midsection. Tight. Not. Oh, we can go longer. Let's imagine it's a weapon. We'll go longer. We don't want the weapon too close to us. Don't worry about your stance. Just use your fighting stance. Low. Boom. Boom. Okay. You can use a scooping block, as we do in kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA. Or you can do more traditional. I like to get that little bit of a flick it away there. Sometimes with that, you'll catch them for a second. Yeah, they might get out of it, but scoop, you catch and kick the other leg or punch. You've got a fraction of a second where they can get caught on there. Okay, so they're your traditional blocks. There's also inward traditional blocks, which are exactly the same as parries, just using the forearms. Okay, now let's look at head movement, which is, so it's not blocking, not redirecting. It's even better, but way harder to master. You do need to do a lot of sparring. I've got a floor-to-ceiling ball here, and I'll just pull it and just use that ball to help me with my slipping, or spar someone at a slow pace, so you'll learn to move. They're coming at your full speed, full power. You're not going to learn head movement very fast. You're just going to learn how to take punches, okay, which is good in itself. Learning how to take a punch, feel a little bit winded, and still be able to keep going rather than curl up into the fetal position on the floor and get stomped on. You need to be able to keep going. But when you're training, sometimes you have to slow things down so that you can then later speed them up. Okay, well, most of the time you need to do that. So the head movement is just moving your head offline. If you have mats, just stand on that line in the center and just move your head I showed you in the last video, just dip the shoulder. You can dip the other shoulder, but then you're slipping a different way. So someone could be punching and I could slip this shoulder, boom, 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 boom. Okay, that's takes a lot more skill to be able to slip that way and punch that way. So we're going to dip, which if I'm going to the left, if I'm going to move my head to the left, I'm going to slip my right shoulder and try to keep these up because it's a natural feeling to want to drop that one right at the wrong time. It's the worst time you want to drop that one. So here, boom, boom, boom. You don't have to keep your feet planted on the ground. You can in the beginning, but we get a little bit of foot movement. That's good. Moves you out of the way. When you're ready, you can, boom. Yeah, so this way, boom, boom, boom. You can throw some punches here. Slip, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so keep working those slips. The one we're doing is opposite shoulder to the direction you're going. There is another slip where you actually go the other way. So I do tend to use that to, I sort of mix them up depending on what's happening at the time. And you will all be able to do that with practice and at higher belt levels that do a lot of sparring. You're already using that whether you realise it or not, because you can't just stand there. You will already be using footwork, head movement and redirection. Even if no one teaches you this stuff, if you do a lot of sparring, you will develop it because your sparring will become more and more economical as you do it, as long as you're training with other skilled people and not people that are going to be sparring you with a very fixed style of sparring, then you become more like them. Okay, so another type of head movement is for things that come swinging at you: baseball bat, knife, a baton, a big swinging punch, or even a shorter swinging punch, which is going to be a lot harder to get under, or even a grab. You can still come under it. So U shape with your head, mostly legs, a little bit of back. Here. You can set a string or rope in the middle, come to this side, come to this side. You can actually put a rope, tie it at about your own head height and come under it and walk. You can even walk forward. I don't mean walk as in walk. I mean move in your fighting stance and advance. Yeah, so your opponent's punching you and you're coming under, and you're moving in on them and attacking them. Whilst they're attacking you, you're advancing rather than always retreating. Okay, so under, some footwork. Later you can do footwork and a pivot. Okay. Footwork and a pivot. So not only are you ducking, because if I duck, my opponent's coming towards me, I duck, they're here, I'm here. I still have to get back this way. So more advanced is your duck with your footwork and a pivot. Duck with your footwork. Opponent's coming this way and a pivot. Pom, pom, pom. So as they're coming past, you can get a shot in. Then they're going to turn back towards you because they don't want to be side on. As they turn into you, boom, boom, you hit them with a couple more. Okay, so that's most of your upper body and arm defenses. With the legs, you need to become really good at checking. The only way you're going to become really good at checking is if you have a 50-50 stance distribution. Okay, so now a warm-up is going into the lesson. So it's not, I haven't done all, we're going to do a 10-minute warm-up. Okay, we've finished warming up. And we're still going to continue moving, and I'm still going to continue the teaching and practice with martial arts techniques. Okay, so for checking, you can't just be plonked on the ground, because you're going to need that spring to be quick with your checking. And see what I just did? That's just an exercise in itself. Just moving. Oh, I'm not doing a full check, I'm just developing that reflex. See, my weight is, it's going a little bit foot to foot, foot to foot, foot to foot. It's going to be hard for them to time exactly when that foot hits the ground because I'm not doing big steps and movement. So if they time it, they think they're going to kick me here. Boom, it's already. Yeah, because I'm just light, hot tin roof. There's a hot tin roof. That's why I'm saying always, no matter what you're doing in your training for martial arts, keep that balance, equal stand. As soon as I've got weight on this foot, I can't check off this leg fast enough. Okay? Because I have to transfer my weight all the way to the back leg before I can check. It's going to be too slow against a fast opponent. So equal. Don't show where your weight is. Even though my weight's here, even though my weight's going onto this foot, it's not committed onto that foot. Just toes, balls of the feet. I've got both heels off the ground. And I haven't got my front heel on the ground, but when I'm attacking, I'll put my front heel on the ground and I'll drive this one in. Okay, when I say what I do, I'm meaning learn from it. I'm trying to explain how I do it so that you can get the lesson and value out of it. Okay, so small steps, so any time, even if this leg's coming down, it can still check quickly. Okay, so a little drill for you to do in your warm-ups is just same as skipping, but not that type of skipping. We all tend to start with that. Then we can turn that. This is more taekwondo kind of footwork. So we're going more Muay Thai kickboxing, MMA boxing. Check, check. We don't have to go all the way up yet because we're not working the full check now. We're working speed, touch, up, and boom, directions. Okay, so a check is just a block. It's the same as blocking a punch, but a kick's coming in. It could hit me right here, and then I'll need a knee reconstruction. Fight's finished. That'll just destroy your knee, and you'd be surprised how easy it is to destroy the leg. So, in training, we tend to try to hit people to the thigh. You're not allowed to actually hit to the knee. So, it's going to take a lot more to stop someone because you're just corking the leg. So, it's really when the leg is corked and the muscle's damaged that they might stop, or this leg will become so sore they can't kick anymore and they can't bounce and evade anymore because it's damaged. And they might put this leg forward and try to keep going for a bit longer. But regardless if it's going to destroy the muscle or the knee joint, you need to block those. Check them. Same as, yeah, and whatever angle the kick's coming in, 45 degrees or deeper, you meet it square. Yeah, and you have your calf tight and have your foot pulled back. Some people do it this way. I don't recommend that way because if you get hit here, you've got a broken ankle, break your toes as well. So, and also the muscle here is soft. As soon as I lock this back, that muscle's hard, rigid. You only want to check with this area up here, which is reinforced by the thigh, not that area. If you can try to avoid that area, sometimes you'll just get hit there because you're always moving. Here, check, check, and stay up, check. It's coming in a bit more front ways, just forwards here, more this way, boom, boom. You have to be able to check off both sides equally. Most people are good at checking the front with the front leg because it's easy to transfer your weight back and check, and people tend to attack the front leg more because the back leg's further back. But if someone steps in or steps around and comes for your back leg, you have to be able to check that. So practice your back leg as well, because a lot of the times, just through experience, you know that your opponent's good at checking with their front leg. And every time you kick, they're checking it. Okay, so you will target the back leg. Even though it feels more unnatural because it's further away, you'll step in. Yeah, so it may be 1, 2, get their hands up, step across, boom, come in deep, hit their back leg. Yeah, so if your opponent's good at checking the front leg, don't keep kicking the front leg all the time. Have a go with the back leg. And again, I'll reiterate, I'm talking about our sparring training, but I've got to reiterate, so you don't forget this and you still practice it. Even when I'm sparring, I'll practice this with no contact. The groin kick. Okay, so sometimes when I'm sparring, or not sometimes, regularly, I'll make sure that sometimes I'll just do a short, sharp kick towards the groin for my connection and my muscle memory and my memory to realise that this is also for self-defense. I don't want to kick someone in the legs for self-defense because it's going to be less effective, especially if they're big. It might not have any effect at all. So that's quicker. It's just a kick, straight kick to the groin. So you don't want to train that out of you because it's the rules of a sport. Because we're not specifically a sport, we're a self-defense system. You need to keep the groin kick happening. You need to keep the knee to the groin happening. Not always think you have to drive it into the body so that you can keep it above the belt. You need to be able to do straight upward knees into the groin. So when you're sparring without contact, occasionally, boom, throw a short one halfway for your own benefit so that stays part of your artillery. And you don't forget about actually the most important kick. It's the same with finger jabs to the eyes, thumbs to the eyes. Sometimes when you're sparring, so in your own head to the eyes, ear slaps, swings. Okay, so here we've got our technique for our nice punches. But what about when you're close? Boom, you go for a burst the eardrum. Obviously kids, you can't go do this at school against the bully. I'm talking about, when I say self-defense, real self-defense. You're attacked. Someone's trying to pull you into a car, something like that, multiple opponents on you, and you fear for your life. Okay, then you may have to use whatever dirty, they call them dirty tricks, but they're really just self-defense techniques. Okay, so keep working those checks now. All directions, boom, equal weight distribution. And don't get into a rhythm as well, left, right. So you don't want to get into patterns and rhythms. Rhythm is okay. Sometimes you'll break the rhythm. So I've got this rhythm going, but I've broken the rhythm. I'm not just always like a robot, okay? So you'll do that a lot. And then I did a double step there. I did a switch and a double. So break your rhythm up because your opponent will read that rhythm and they'll react to the rhythm. They'll work with the rhythm, especially an experienced opponent. So keep going with that. Just want to make sure the camera's still rolling. Okay, we're nearly up to 40 minutes. It's been good. We've been warming up the whole time. I'm dripping with sweat, feeling good. Okay, so we did our checking and check at different heights and make sure, because they might come in higher, make sure that's protected. Reinforce it on your head if you can. You need to be able to check across. So I want to move on to some other stuff now, but you need to be able to cross-check as well. And for push kicks, sometimes you can just bring your leg up and wear that. You might get pushed back a bit, but you can use knees straight up for a push kick if you miss the scoop. Okay, so we're going to have a look at our boxing combinations. Last week we did 1 through to 4, so we're going to have a look at number 5. Number 4 and 5 are very similar. Number 4 is your cross, which is for most people the most powerful punch. Boom. Overhand can be just as powerful, but it's still kind of very similar movement as this sort of movement as opposed to that movement. So your cross, especially if you're going to throw your cross, when we first teach you all your techniques, they're all stationary. We're just teaching you the basic technique. Later we teach you how to add your footwork, with punches, because if you want to punch powerfully, you need to get your body moving. Okay? Otherwise you just got waist and leg power. You need to get your body weight behind it. So a smaller person can punch as hard as a bigger person. If the bigger person doesn't know how to use their weight properly and they're just punching, and the smaller, lighter person knows how to use their weight behind the punch, they can punch just as hard as the bigger person. But if the bigger person knows how to use their weight properly, then the bigger person is going to punch harder. And that's why there are very narrow weight divisions in full contact martial arts. Okay, so this combination we did last week, 4, uses your 2 most powerful punches, which are your cross, and then your left hook, and then your cross. Now again, you might say overhand is just as powerful, so not about this is just my opinion and the opinion of many people I've trained with. 2 of your most powerful punches. Your right cross, boom, and then look at this. Look at my legs, they're like a lackey band wound up. Look at my hips, boom. Now I've got all this energy stored in my legs and hips. So it's boom. Don't know if you remember Rocky 3, Mr. T, Cobra, and he had awesome, powerful punches. Whereas Rocky, his technique wasn't that good. So you could tell that Mr. T, he'd actually done boxing. Apollo Creed actually done boxing and martial arts and weren't just actors because they had that body movement. And so cross, hook, cross, cross, hips, legs, here's your power. Cross, hook, cross. Okay, so that was number 4. So we did that one last week. Number 5, hook, cross, hook. Same punches in a different order. When you're doing your pad work, stand at a distance. Don't just stand here and just punch the pads and tick your rounds off. You're not doing yourself any favours, you're just getting fitness out of that. When you're sparring, there's only certain times you're going to be in the exchange range. And most of the time you're going to be out here. And you're going to be looking for ways to get in past their guard, how to use the can opener to get in, how to use the can opener to get in. Okay, so when we use our punches on the pads and bags or a combination, you have to be able to cover that distance. So it's very rarely going to just be on the spot. You're going to be, so let's say we use the cross hook cross. I'm going to have to step in. Yeah, so cross from a distance. Here, my footwork, which you've all learned from the lower levels. Use your footwork here, but combine it with your punch. So here, here, just like we teach you how to do a hook punch in class, legs and hips, boom, which then sets you up for boom again. Okay, so you need the advancing footwork. And if you can, I'm not just advancing, I'm sidestepping. So my opponent is heading this way. I'm off to the side. So there's 2 things that are happening besides the combination, even with your pad work. You've got to advance and you've got to move off to the side, get offline. So you're attacking them, but they can't attack you for that instant. Okay, so with the hook, cross, hook, couple ways of doing it. One is get offline if I want more power. It's like, imagine I threw a cross first. Look at my head. It's moved offline. And then here's the power. Boom. Okay, so instead of throwing the punch, I can just balk with the shoulder. They'll still react to that. As long as you don't do it all the time, then they know it becomes a habit. But if I was to do that, if someone's to do that to me, I have to block that. That's going to come at me at a fraction of a second. And I don't know if they're throwing the full punch or not. So I still have to defend it. So that shoulder, just like we did in the slips, here, and then hook, cross, hook, hook, cross, hook, with some footwork. There's this step. I'm off to the side of them. They're still going that way. Yeah. Bah, bah, bah. Bah, bah, bah. Okay, so notice my footwork, I'm using it different again. I'm not going hook, cross, hook, which is for learning. So kids and beginners just start with that on the spot. Like we teach at the lower belts, hook, cross, hook. And then you go hook, cross, hook. And then later when you want to add immense power into it, here, throw, bum, bum, bum. So add 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's going full power. That's when you're finishing someone off. Normally when you're sparring, you're not going to be throwing like that all the time. Well, some people do. Some people put everything into every shot, which is fine. They get a quick knockout because they can burn themselves out. Or if they're super fit, they can do that. Bum, bum, bum. Hook, cross, hook. What I can do is not wind it up so much. If I was going to wind that up like that, I'll make it look like I'm going to throw a right hand. So they react to that, maybe go to parry that, and then pop the left hook. But also, instead of going for maximum power, You can go for speed, clock them with less power but speed, just boom, just hit them on the side of the jaw. And so for that pump, you can just pop it. So just here, you don't have to go the big Cobra Lang Mr. T one. You just go here, pop, pop, short, pop, just like a fast jab, pop, pop, yeah, pop, 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 pop. So that's just pure speed. You clock them with the first one, may not be a knockout, but then again it might. You don't have to hit hard if the timing and placement's right. So it's the same combination, but without the extras put in to generate power, just pure speed. Pop, 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 pop. Keep that movement between. Okay, so that's your number 5, hook, cross, hook. Number 6, overhand, uppercut, overhand. So the overhand punch is just like a cross, but instead of the elbow pointing down, with your cross, the elbow should be pointing down until the end, and then it pops out to the side. Shouldn't be popping out to the side early. Yeah, so you'll feel that. Some of our kata, we develop that feel. Keep the forearm on the body, turn it over like a spinning bullet, boom, at the end. Yeah, 2 front knuckles leading. Not like that. That's little knuckle leading. Okay, so this is the overhand punch. So when you first learn it, we generally show the stuff without the footwork. So I don't want to overcomplicate everything straight away, one thing at a time. So the punch, instead of going like a cross punch, the elbow pops out early and it comes this way, opposite to an uppercut. Okay, uppercut, hook, overhand. And you have to have these 2 knuckles down. Yep, so here, boom, boom. Some people just lift that and throw a straight punch with the overhand. This is another style of overhand, not wrong. That works well as well because it just changes the angle. So if you look at my guard and you throw a cross punch at me, it's going to land on my guard. But if you bring your elbow up and punch down, it's going to come through this triangle here. So I'm changing the angle so that I can get into this triangle. There's also a triangle here, and there's usually a triangle here, which are all openings, because my forearms are not big enough to cover everything. Okay, so overhand, boom, here. Butt, hip, leg. No different to a cross with the footwork and hip. Okay, so that's the basic way of doing the overhand. Problem with doing it that way in sparring or in fighting is I'm still online. I can get countered really easily. So as I go here to launch that, pop, so boom, 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 you hit 3 times, boom, as I'm doing it. So what we do, we move off on the 45. So I'm slipping, whether anything's coming at me or not. I'm slipping and throwing the overhand. They're coming through this way. They're coming here. I'm moving here, but my fist is staying on line. Boom. Yep. Boom. Okay, the other benefit, I'm covering ground. And probably one of the biggest benefits, as I showed you already, is I've got my body weight behind it. So that's what makes it super powerful. Okay, so I'm not just going straight in, get counter punch. I want to get out of the way. Okay. This one's here because then I'm set to shoot to the body. Okay, look at that angle that's coming on. Whatever that angle is, let's say it's a 30 degree, maybe not quite 45, it's a bit steeper, 30 degree angle. Look at my hips, look at my legs. Where's the energy? Where's the energy being stored? Here. Boom. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Look at the plane we're working on. Working on this axis. We're going to be most powerful remaining on this axis and not changing to another axis. We're conserving energy and motion. Okay, so here, boom, it's clocked in the temple side of the face or behind the jaw or neck. Boom, here, power, thighs, into the body. Okay, behind the rib here, doesn't have to be to the side of the body. So here, the liver organ behind these lower ribs here. So here, you can drop someone with a liver punch. So when you get hit there, doesn't matter how big you are, if that compresses the liver and pushes the fluid, the blood out of the liver for that second, yeah, you're going to go. You're going to collapse, or your legs are going to give out on you if you hit them right with that one. Yeah, so step out. When you're doing your pad work, bag work, remember that. Bring the energy up through the sound. Union of energy. Ki in the traditional arts. Ki is chi, energy. I, union, ki, union of energy. So I'm not just, okay, that's not bringing the energy and emotion up. So don't be scared. I know everyone feels nervous in the beginning. You need that. You look at shot putters, cricket players, tennis players, they're bringing that energy up. So you'll triple the power in your techniques by using the core and bringing that. So get the energy behind the technique. So that's number 6, overhand, uppercut, overhand. It could just as well be uppercut, overhand, uppercut. Okay, so this is just the one I've chosen. You can reverse that just as a good combination. Just like we reversed 4 and 5. Cross, hook, cross is 4. Hook, cross, hook is 5. We could have done the same for 6 and made it 7. But I just want to limit it to 8. But there are plenty of variations on these. Number 7, triple hook. So we're working on different heights now. The first hook to the head, second hook to the body, third hook back up to the head. Okay, so what generally will happen, or the idea behind this, is when you hit someone to the head, the retention goes to the head. So someone hooks me to the head, boom, my guard comes here, boom, because the shot's coming to the head. But look what happens to the body, open. If someone hit me to the body here, but look what happens to the head, because the forearm is not big enough to cover that distance. So by curling over, we can make that distance smaller, blocking this way. Okay, so we're going to the head, pop, pop, pop. So without any footwork, head, 1, body, 2, head, 3. Now look at the legs, levels. Head, drop your head. Body, be protected. Back to the head. So I guarantee you what I would see if I could see at home for a lot of people, until you get hit and learn the hard way. Doesn't matter if someone keeps telling you, drop your legs, keep your guard up. It doesn't often sink in until you actually get hit, and then you'll learn from that. Sometimes pain is the best teacher, unfortunately. So if I hit someone on the head here, and then I punch them in the body and keep my head there, I'm open for the next shot. Okay, so my head's there, this is where they know the target is. Okay, so let's say I miss or they block it, pop, 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 they're going to be coming straight back up at me. Maybe not to the head, but most likely people will go to the head and then the body. So I've gone to the head, now I know they're going to come straight back at my head, so I have to duck whatever they've thrown. They might not throw anything, but I need to be protected, because if I keep my head here and go to the body, I'm not protected. How am I going to protect myself? If I hit to the body, I need to be behind this arm and guard. So here, I'm protected with the punches protecting me for that second, and then I'm back up to here. Okay. Also, you've got power in the legs, and you've got footwork as well. Okay, so let's have a look at that again. From here, we might do the dip, or we might just do a short hook. 1, 2, 3. Head, body, head. Okay, so the key things, I just know from experience in teaching martial arts for 30 plus years, is this is what most people are going to have to work on. No worries there. That's the problem there. Get behind it, behind your punch, and then you shouldn't have too much problem there. It's just the changing the levels correctly, which most people are going to need to work on. So that's number 7. As number 7, we call that one triple hook. And the last one, uppercut, hook, cross. So we work punching 3 different directions. Here, uppercut, pop, under the chin. Now if you aim for the chin, you're probably going to miss it. If you aim more for the chest, and it will come up under the chin. So if you aim to hit the chest, it will come up under the chin. Yeah, pop, pop. Yeah. You don't have to go too far and open yourself up. So here, here's the target. Boom, for safety. You want to go full power, fine. Just realise the problem that can cause. It's not wrong, just you're opening yourself up. So you have to be aware. If you're going for maximum power, you're opening yourself up. So really hit this target here, and it's not from the arm. Okay, look where it's from. Leg, hip, pop, 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 pop. Here, so all your punches, everything's from here. Uppercut, cross, overhand. If you're throwing anything off the right hand, for good technique and maximum power, that right hip has to be in front of the left hip when you throw it. Okay. If it's not in front of the left hip, it's not wrong, you're just not going to maximise power, and it's not perfect technique. But it's going to be faster. Sometimes you need the speed instead of the power, so it's got to be a compromise. Okay, so that one, uppercut, hook, cross. So we're going to hit him under the chin, boom, boom, head knocked back, head opens up. If you miss with the first one, doesn't matter because the second one's coming. Okay, so bang, hit the head up. Now look at the body, it's twisted. Pop, pop. 3 directions, up, cross, straight. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Okay, so I just naturally made a that's me releasing energy. Same as yelling, yeah? That gives me a bit more aggression. Okay, so I was getting tired, so I'm doing long rounds of sparring. I'm getting tired. Okay, I'm gonna take a step back. You can still fight at a maximum power, even when you're tired, to some extent until you collapse by bringing that energy up. Okay, so that's the uppercut. Comes from the hips and legs, hips and legs, hips and legs. Obviously don't leave it out, I'm just showing you back to your fighting stance, not and square. Unless you're waiting and looking and you've got good head movement and you're going to do something else from there. But always back to your fighting stance. That was uppercut, hook, cross. Now there's no reason, I just didn't want to make a set of 50 million combinations. No reason the uppercut couldn't be off the front hand. And I actually use it more off my front hand. I only use it off my back hand when I'm head to head with someone. I don't know if you can see from there because I've pushed the punch back a bit. Yeah, you can still see. If I'm head to head to someone here, we're leaning on each other, we're tired, we're working the body here. Whoosh! Then I'll use the backhand. Yeah, see? In here. Getting close. Drop that back heel. Boom. They don't expect that. Having a bit of a rest. Bit of a grapple. There's the uppercut. Boom, off the backhand. Works really good in close. So from normal sparring range, I don't want to be that close opening myself up. So I use that for close range. So for normal sparring range, pop here. Opponent might be here, pop. I can extend it out a bit. I can adjust the distance here. Boom, boom, head back. Boom, boom, boom. So we just change the combo. Same punches. Uppercut, cross, hook. And instead of uppercut, hook, cross, this is going to flow if I use my front hand. Yeah. Push, push, push. Push, push, push. Push, push. Push. Okay, so that's just the reverse of uppercut, hook, cross. Just as good a combination as the one I've listed as part of our 8. So practice that as well. So these combinations, 8 combinations, combinations that we released, it was either earlier this year or late last year, and they're going to be in the syllabus for all kids and all adults. No hurry, I'm not rushing to put them in the syllabus, just want everyone to learn them now. So once in the syllabus, you already know it. Okay, thank you.